Each morning begins a brand new chapter in your financial story. The way you start your day determines how you move through it. Most people wake up and drift, no direction, no intention, no sense of purpose. They simply hope things go well, hope the bills somehow get paid, hope opportunities will appear out of thin air. But life doesn't respond to hope, it responds to intention. When you start your morning by saying, "I will," something powerful happens. You take command. You shift from being a passenger to being the driver. You move from wishing for change to designing it. I learned early in my career that wealth isn't built by chance. It's built by choice, repeated daily. Every morning I made it a ritual to set a small, clear financial intention. Sometimes it was as simple as, I will save $10 today. Other days, I will make one extra sales call, or I will read 10 pages on investing. Now that may not sound like much, but here's what I discovered. Consistent intention compounds just like money does. The discipline of setting your mind each morning toward a financial purpose builds a quiet confidence, and that confidence draws opportunity. You start noticing chances you used to overlook. You think sharper, act quicker, and attract people who share your direction. I remember a time when I was just starting out, broke and uncertain. I couldn't afford big moves, but I could afford small commitments. So, I told myself every morning, today, I'll do one thing that moves me closer to financial independence. Sometimes it was reading a chapter from a book. Sometimes it was skipping a coffee and saving the money instead. Those tiny intentions became habits. Those habits became results. And those results changed my entire financial trajectory. Intentionality has a strange way of reshaping reality. When you speak it, believe it, and act on it, you send a clear signal to your mind, and your mind begins finding ways to make it happen. Money doesn't come to people who wait. It comes to those who prepare. So, each morning, before you rush into the noise of the day, take 60 seconds and decide who you're going to be with your money today. Don't hope to save, decide to save. Don't wish for opportunity, create it. That's how ordinary days become extraordinary, and that's how wealth begins, one intention at a time. Wealth doesn't just flow to a bank account, it flows to a person. And the truth is, money always finds its way to the person prepared to handle it. You don't attract wealth by wishing for it. You attract it by becoming the kind of person who can manage it, respect it, and multiply it. That's why each day should begin not with a focus on what you want to have, but on who you are becoming. Most people start their day saying things like, "I want more money," or "I need to be rich." But here's the secret. Wanting doesn't create, becoming does. Instead of saying, "I want $1 million," start saying, "I am becoming the kind of person who earns, grows, and sustains $1 million." Because the moment you begin to affirm that identity, your behavior starts aligning with it. You start showing up differently. You start making wiser decisions, saying no to wasteful habits, and yes to growth opportunities. I remember in my early years when I didn't have much to show financially, but I had a vision of the person I wanted to be. Every morning, I'd remind myself, I am disciplined, I am valuable, I am trusted with wealth. And let me tell you, those words were more than affirmations. They were instructions to my mind. They guided my choices. They reminded me that the person I was becoming was far more important than the amount sitting in my wallet. And as I grew into that identity, the money began to follow naturally, because I had built the mindset to manage it wisely. You see, wealth without character is temporary. There are people who win lotteries and lose everything within a few years, not because money is cruel, but because they weren't prepared for it. They received what they hadn't yet become. Real prosperity doesn't start with the numbers in your bank account. It starts with the beliefs you repeat to yourself every single day. When you affirm discipline, you practice restraint. When you affirm value, you pursue excellence. When you affirm trust, you earn reliability. And money loves reliability. So tomorrow morning, instead of repeating your financial wish list, declare your personal growth list. Say it out loud. I am disciplined with my spending. I am valuable to the marketplace. I am trusted with wealth. Don't just chase money. Become its rightful steward. Because once you grow into the person worthy of abundance, abundance has no choice but to find you. Wealth doesn't grow from giant leaps. It grows from steady, consistent planting. Every great fortune began with a small seed, an idea, a habit, a single disciplined action repeated over time. The tragedy is that most people never plant because they think the seed is too small to matter. They say, it's only $1, or what difference can 5 minutes of learning make? But here's the truth. That's how every wealthy person begins, by doing the small things that don't look like much in the moment but create everything later. I still remember when I could barely save anything, my income was small, my expenses large, and my dreams even larger. But one day, I decided that if I ever wanted things to change, I needed to begin where I was. So, I made a commitment. Every single day, no matter how small, I'd do one thing that moved me toward wealth. Some days I'd set aside $1. Other days I'd read a few pages from a book on business or investing. Sometimes I'd reach out to a potential client or write down an idea. It didn't matter what it was. What mattered was the habit of planting. And something incredible happened. The energy of consistency began creating momentum. That's what most people miss. The first few days, nothing happens. The first few dollars seem insignificant. But keep going, and you'll notice something shift inside you. You start feeling capable, disciplined, responsible. You begin thinking differently about money, and that's when your world starts to change. The seed isn't powerful because of its size. It's powerful because of what it becomes when you keep watering it. I often tell people, don't wait to have more before you start saving or investing. Start saving so you can have more. Money responds to structure and discipline. The habit of setting aside even $1 sends a clear message to your mind. I'm in charge of my financial destiny. That small act builds confidence, and confidence attracts opportunity. Before you know it, the little seed starts sprouting. One saved dollar becomes 10. 10 becomes 100. 100 becomes 1,000. And the same principle applies to ideas, skills, and relationships. Every day you're planting something, either seeds of progress or seeds of procrastination. The good news is, you get to choose which ones. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect amount. Put something, even a single dollar, into motion. Save it, invest it, or plant it in your dream. Because small daily deposits don't just build wealth, they build momentum. And momentum, once it's on your side, becomes unstoppable. Debt is one of life's greatest teachers, but only if you learn the right lesson from it. Most people fall into debt not because they're bad with money, but because no one ever taught them the real difference between using debt and being used by it. There's smart debt and there's suffocating debt. One builds, the other bleeds. Smart debt works for you, creating leverage, opportunity, and growth. The wrong kind drains your energy, steals your options, and keeps you tied to the grind long after the excitement of spending is gone. When I was younger, I made the same mistake most people make. I bought things to look successful before I actually was. I took on payments for things that lost value the second I brought them home. And each time that monthly bill came due, I felt the weight of my past decisions. That's when I learned that debt isn't just financial, it's emotional. It controls your thinking, limits your freedom, and affects how boldly you can move toward your goals. I realized something powerful. You can't chase opportunity if you're chained to obligations. So I started working a different plan. First, I attacked every piece of bad debt I had like it was an emergency, because it was. I sold things I didn't need, cut down unnecessary expenses, and directed every extra dollar toward freedom. Every time a balance hit zero, I celebrated, not because I owed less, but because I owned more of myself. There's nothing quite like the feeling of waking up knowing you don't owe anyone for your past. All your energy is now available for your future. But not all debt is destructive. When used wisely, debt can become a powerful tool. The wealthy understand this. They borrow not to consume, but to create. They take loans to build assets, things that produce income, appreciate in value, or grow their influence. It's the difference between borrowing to buy a car that loses value every day versus borrowing to buy property that pays you rent every month. The first keeps you trapped, the second sets you free. But even smart debt requires discipline. You must know the numbers, understand the risk, and always have a plan to pay it off with profits, not promises. Debt reveals your habits. If your first thought when you have extra money is what you can buy, you're still a consumer. If your first thought is how to make that money work for you, you're stepping into ownership. The goal isn't to live without any debt, it's to live without destructive debt. Use debt to build, not to buy. Let it expand your assets, not your ego. So, take a hard look at what you owe and why. Eliminate what drains you. Strengthen what builds you. When your money is no longer enslaved to debt, it becomes free to grow. And when you're free, opportunities that were once invisible suddenly appear. Freedom, not possessions, is the real sign of wealth. Knowledge by itself is potential energy. It sits quietly on the shelf, waiting for someone to pick it up and put it to work. The tragedy is, most people spend their lives collecting information but never converting it into transformation. They read the books, attend the seminars, take the notes, but then they file it all away and go back to living the same way. That's not education, that's entertainment. Real learning begins when what you know starts showing up in what you do. Knowledge without application is like a seed locked in a box. It never grows, never multiplies, never feeds you. I remember when I first started studying personal development, I devoured everything I could. Success books, tapes, speeches. I took pages of notes, filled journals, and for a while, I thought I was making great progress. But then one day, my mentor asked me, "What have you done with what you know?" I didn't have much to say. That question hit me hard. I realized that having information wasn't enough. I needed to turn it into action, into results, into income. So I started changing my approach. Every time I learned something new, I'd ask myself two questions. How can I use this? And who can I help with this? That shift changed everything. The truth is, you're paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. If you want to earn more, don't just wish for a raise, increase your value. Learn a new skill, master communication, study leadership, sales, or investing. Every new piece of knowledge, when applied, becomes another stream of potential income. When I learned how to speak, it wasn't just a personal victory. It opened doors to audiences, clients, and opportunities I never imagined. That's the power of turning learning into earning. Think of knowledge like capital. It grows when invested. Every book you read should either make you smarter about managing money, more effective in your career, or better equipped to create something valuable. Every seminar you attend should translate into a change in your habits, your business, or your relationships. And every conversation with a mentor should lead you to one actionable step that improves your results. The wealthy don't just learn for curiosity. They learn for conversion. They turn ideas into income, wisdom into wealth. Don't become a collector of knowledge. Become a producer of results. It's not about how many books are on your shelf, but how many lessons are in your actions. Take one insight and practice it until it pays. Use what you know to create something of value, a service, a skill, a business, a product. When you do, your mind stops being just a library and becomes a factory. And that's where true wealth begins, when your learning starts working for you. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to know more, it's to live better. So turn every idea into action, every lesson into leverage, and every bit of knowledge into income. That's how you turn education into fortune. If you want real financial independence, you can't rely on a single source of income. One stream is too fragile. The moment it dries up, whether it's a job, a client, or a contract, everything you've built can crumble. That's why one of the greatest disciplines of wealth is learning to create multiple streams of income, one at a time. You don't need to start 5 businesses overnight. You just need to build one new stream every year. A side hustle this year, a small investment next year, a digital product the next. Over 5 years, you'll have a portfolio, a set of financial engines that keep running even when you're resting. When I first began my career, I had only one income, my job. It paid the bills, but it also controlled my life. My time was owned by someone else, and my financial ceiling was set by what they were willing to pay me. Then I started to realize something. Wealthy people don't depend on permission to get paid. They build systems that pay them. So, I made a commitment to start creating my own streams, slowly, intentionally, one by one. My first was a small business on the side. It didn't make much at first, but it taught me ownership. Then came investments, small speaking opportunities, and products that could sell even while I was asleep. Each stream started small, but together they created something powerful. Stability. The key is not speed, it's consistency. Every year, ask yourself, what can I build this year that will pay me next year? Maybe it's learning a new skill that leads to freelance income. Maybe it's setting aside money for an investment property. Maybe it's turning your expertise into a digital course or a book. The idea is to plant something each year that will eventually grow into a tree, a source of shade, fruit, and security for your future. Don't underestimate small beginnings. The first few dollars from your new stream might seem insignificant, but they represent freedom. They mean a part of your life is no longer dependent on a single paycheck. And here's what happens when you start multiplying those streams. Your stress goes down, your creativity goes up, and your choices expand. Suddenly, you're not living for survival anymore, you're living for purpose. You stop asking, how do I get by? And start asking, what can I build next? The poor think in terms of income. The wealthy think in terms of systems. So build systems. Use this year to create one stream that doesn't require your constant effort. Then, next year, build another. Before long, you'll notice something beautiful. Your money is now working harder than you are. That's when you know you've crossed over from earning a living to creating wealth. So, don't chase 5 things at once. Just start one. Build it, refine it, automate it, and then move to the next. One new income stream per year may not sound dramatic, but give it 5 years and you'll have what most people never achieve: freedom. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in wealth creation. Yet most people overlook it because it starts quietly. It doesn't make headlines in the beginning. It whispers, not shouts. But if you understand its power and let time work for you, compound interest becomes your silent partner, faithful, consistent, and tireless. It doesn't need sleep, motivation, or permission. It just needs you to start early and stay disciplined. When I first learned about compounding, it completely changed how I saw money. I realized that wealth isn't built by luck or large windfalls, it's built by consistency. You don't have to start big, you just have to start. $5 a day, invested wisely, will always outperform waiting for extra money that never comes. Because that's the trap. Most people wait for perfect conditions to begin, but wealth grows in imperfect moments with small, steady steps taken over time. Let's make this practical. If you invested just $5 a day, about the cost of a coffee, into something that grows at a modest 10% per year, you'd have nearly $300,000 in 30 years. That's not a fantasy, that's math. The secret isn't in the $5, it's in the years. Time is the multiplier of money. The earlier you start, the greater your reward. Those who start late often spend decades trying to catch up with someone who started small but stayed consistent. I often tell people, don't treat your dollars like paper. Treat them like employees. Each dollar you save or invest goes to work for you. It earns more dollars, and those new dollars start working too. That's compounding. It's money working for you instead of you always working for money. But it only happens if you give your money time to grow and resist the urge to pull it out too soon. The poor think they'll start when they have more. The wealthy start so they can have more. That's the difference. Every dollar you put to work today is a seed planted for your future freedom. So, begin now, not tomorrow, not someday. Start small, stay steady, and let compound interest do what it does best. Turn quiet beginnings into, most people say, I'll start once I have the money. But that's the wrong place to start. You don't need money first, you need leverage. The wealthy understand that capital follows leverage, not the other way around. Leverage is the multiplier that takes small efforts and turns them into large results. It's the art of using what you already have, your time, skills, relationships, creativity, to produce more than you could alone. You see, the poor and middle class wait for opportunity. The wealthy create it through leverage. When I started, I didn't have much, no savings, no business background, no investors. But I had one thing that changed everything: the willingness to use what I did have. I had time, I had energy, I had curiosity. I decided to leverage those. I began reading every book I could find, attending every seminar I could afford, and talking to anyone who knew more than I did. I couldn't buy opportunity, but I could build it through knowledge. And that knowledge, compounded with consistency, became my first real capital. There are many forms of leverage, and none require wealth to begin. Knowledge is leverage, because what you know multiplies what you can earn. Systems are leverage. They let you scale your efforts without working harder. People are leverage. The right partnership or mentor can save you years of trial and error. Technology is leverage. It allows one person to reach thousands without leaving home. Money, when it finally comes, is simply the last form of leverage.